Welcome to the Peter O. Halloran podcast.
I think you'd be happy to know that I'm not dead. I've just been up the walls more than Spider-Man. So, hi guys, and welcome to the first ever PPT podcast, okay? I haven't made any videos in a while. This was originally supposed to be a video, but it is very long, so I've decided to start doing some podcasts. Right, so, today's topic. Someone sent me a message on Instagram and it's actually a very interesting question, so I said I'd make a video, as a lot of you out there probably are wondering the same thing. So, here's the message. Hi Peter, I have a question. Hope you don't mind. So I hear PT saying a calorie is a calorie, so it doesn't matter if it's whole or fast food. Surely there's a different effect on how these foods act in the body, or does it matter? Okay, so first off, what people need to understand is that a calorie is a unit of energy or heat. When it comes to fat loss, it's the first law of thermodynamics, which is the conservation of energy, or in easier terms you would have heard of is calories in versus calories out, okay? So it's a fundamental law which makes you lose fat or gain fat, okay? You burn more than you consume and you lose weight. You consume more than you burn and you store fat, okay? Simple. What you will hear PT saying a lot is, oh, it's calories in versus calories out. It's simple, it's simple, it's simple. Yes, that is for fat loss, yes, okay? You burn more than you take in, you're going to lose weight, yes. But us as nutritionists, we try to look at the health side of it as well, which falls under the second law of thermodynamics, which in basic explanation is the efficiency of the fuel. For example, look at your car, you have diesel, you have petrol, okay? Both of these are fuels, calories, okay? They're both fuels, calories, diesel, petrol, but they both have different combustion rates, so they both act differently inside the vehicle. Your body's the vehicle, fuel, calories, but they act differently, okay? How does this equate to whole foods versus processed foods? The word processed often causes some confusion. So let me clarify what I mean, okay? Obviously most food that we eat is processed in some way. So for example, mince, okay? It's beef, it's put into a machine and it's minced, okay? That's processed, okay? It's mechanically processed. Then you have butter, which is a cream that's been separated from milk and is churned, okay? In machines, it's mechanically processed, okay? But there's a difference between mechanically processed and chemically processed. If it's a single ingredient food with no added chemicals, then it doesn't matter if it's been ground or put into a jar, it's still real food. However, ingredients that have been chemically processed and made solely from refined ingredients and artificial substances, sweeteners and ingredients are what are generally known as processed foods. Okay, with me so far. So I'm going to list out a few differences here between whole foods and processed foods, okay? And the first one I'm going to deal with is fiber, okay? Processed foods are very low in fiber. Fiber, especially soluble fiber, fermentable fiber, has various benefits, okay? Processed foods have less fiber than unprocessed. Fiber is needed because one of its main functions is as a prebiotic, okay, feeding the friendly bacteria in the intestine. Okay, fiber can also slow down the absorption of carbohydrates and help us feel more satisfied with fewer calories. This is why it's so important to eat whole fruits and not the juice, because the fiber slows down the absorption of the sugars into the bloodstream. And another type of fiber that we also need is insoluble fiber, as it helps treat many causes of constipation, so it stops you getting clogged up and just basically sitting on the toilet. The reason why fiber is taken out of processed food, Lord help me release this demon. The reason why fiber is taken out of processed food is because they are frozen, okay? The problem is when you freeze a food with fiber in it, the water molecules expand by 10 to 15%, which destroys and ruptures the cell walls, okay? You can even try this at home yourself. Get an orange, put it in the freezer, freeze it, Next day, thaw it out, try and open it up, try and eat it. It's just going to be mush, okay? It destroys it. So they don't want that to happen to their food, so they take out the fiber. And moving on, while I have some of my processed coffee. Processed foods are often high in refined carbohydrates, okay? There's a lot of controversy regarding carbohydrates and diet, okay, and carbs have often gotten a bad rep, okay? Some people think that the majority of energy intake should be from carbs, while others think it should be avoided like the plague, okay? This is not the issue here. The problem is not the carbs, but processed foods contain a lot of refined carbohydrates, which are broken down very quickly and absorbed very quickly. So you would call them simple carbs, which are broken down very quickly in the digestive tract and can lead to rapid spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels, okay? This can lead to carb cravings a few hours later when blood sugar levels go down again, okay? When you can become a bit hypoglycemic. This is also known as the blood sugar roller coaster, as a lot of people on high carb diets would probably relate to. Okay, so next, high fructose corn syrup. Processed foods are usually loaded with high fructose corn syrup, okay? It can lead to insulin resistance, high triglycerides, increased level of harmful cholesterol, and increased fat accumulation in liver and abdominal cavity, okay? So high fructose corn syrup, I might do another video on that at a later date, but it is something to stay away from, okay? It is absolute shite. Why do they add high fructose corn syrup, you might ask yourself? Well, because processed foods are engineered for overconsumption. They want you to eat more and more and more and more. So how do they do this? We're human. It's human nature that we want to eat good food, okay? Evolution provided us with taste buds that are supposed to help us navigate the natural food environment, okay? Our appetite gravitates towards foods that are sweet, salty and fatty because we know such foods contain energy and nutrients that we need for survival, okay? We still haven't adapted really from animals, okay? Our brain just thinks about survival, and that's when your taste buds, blah blah blah. I'm not going to get into all that kind of crap, but food companies know this, so this is why they add these additives. Obviously, if a food manufacturer wants to succeed and get people to buy their product, it has to taste good, okay? So for that reason, companies have engineered processed food to be incredibly rewarding of the brain, okay? It makes your brain want more, that they taste much better than anything that we have come across in nature, okay? So they try to make them as tasty as possible, that it just tastes better than anything you can go and get in nature, basically. So because processed foods are so rewarding to our brain, they affect our thought and behavior and make us eat more and more until we basically become sick, which a lot of us have done. Especially at Easter, after eating 14 Easter eggs. You wouldn't do that in nature. Next I want to talk about is artificial ingredients, okay? If you look at the ingredients on processed food on the label, okay, packaged food, chances are you won't have a clue what some of the ingredients are, okay? That's because the ingredients aren't actually food, they're artificial chemicals. For example, here we have some, block out the brand, Big Value ham, okay? Ham, I know this is processed ham, okay? So you think, ham, well, must be just pig. Let's have a look. Ingredients: pork, 81%. Water, honey, salt, dextrose, which is a sugar, okay? Pork protein, tapioca starch, stabilizers, disodium diphosphate, sodium triphosphate, antioxidants, ascorbic acid, preservative, sodium nitrate. That's a lot of crap to be putting in there for a slice of ham. Still eat it though, but just saying. Nutrients. Okay, processed foods are extremely low on essential nutrients compared to whole foods. In some cases, synthetic vitamins and minerals are added to the foods to compensate for what was lost during processing. You'll see this with cereals. Pick up a cereal like cornflakes or something like that and look at the back, and they have on the ingredients vitamin, niacin, whatever. They've all the vitamins just thrown in, added in after. However, synthetic nutrients are not a good replacement for nutrients found in whole foods. The more processed foods you eat, the less you will get of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants and various trace nutrients. Processed foods require less time and energy to digest, which can be a bad thing too, okay? Given the way foods are processed, they're often very easy to chew and swallow, okay? Not too bad. One consequence of this is that it takes less energy to eat and digest processed foods. So how is this a bad thing? It basically results in you eating more of them in a shorter amount of time, more calories in, which is bad for fat gain. And we also burn less calories, fewer calories out, digesting them than we would if we were eating unprocessed foods, okay? And that's to do with the TEF, the thermal effect of food. TEF, okay? Our bodies burn calories digesting our food, which is known as the thermal effect of food, or the TEF. We only burn half as many calories digesting and metabolizing processed foods compared to whole foods. A lot of you right now are thinking, is he ever going to shut up and finish this video? Yes, I'm on the last thing. Okay, so lastly, another downside to processed foods is they often are high in trans fats, okay? Processed foods are often high in unhealthy... I won't make it a blooper, I'll leave it in. Unhealthy fats, especially hydrogenated fat, okay? This is like the Hitler of fats. They usually contain cheap fat, refined seed and vegetable oils. They're often hydrogenated, which turns them into trans fats, and it's just bad. Even vegetable oils contain excessive amounts of omega-6 fatty acids, which can drive oxidation and inflammation in the body. So if the fats are hydrogenated, that just makes them even worse. Hydrogenated trans fats are the worst fats you can put into your body. I've said that 2 or 3 times already just to get that point across. Stay away from hydrogenated trans fats. They're the devil. They're bad for you. Bad for the ticker. You'd be happy to know that this is my final note. Yay! Shut up! Okay, so now look. In saying all this, people need to understand though that there is a balance when it comes to food. This whole diet culture, everyone has forgotten. People are going extremes. People are going vegan. People are going all meat. People forget there is a balance, and people eat all healthy and won't eat any junk food. Okay, balance, people. Okay, I've just told you what the difference is between whole foods and processed foods, but I am not saying stay away from processed foods, okay? That would make me a hypocrite. I eat processed foods, okay? The video is to educate you on the differences between the two. Simple as, but keep in mind not to banish them, because it is nice to have processed foods every now and again. So for my final note, I would say just remember there is a balance. As long as you have a diet of whole foods, healthy foods, then processed foods every now and again is no problem. I hope this video was informational and didn't bore the absolute shite out of you. It is a long video, but you're sitting at home in isolation, so you've nothing else to do but listen to me. Bye bye for now. P.S. If there's anything else that you'd like me to clarify or any other questions about nutrition, please...
Thank you for listening to the Peter O. Halloran podcast. I would greatly appreciate it if you could please rate and share on your social media. Take care.